here's something that you didn't know. 2 of those special atomic bombs haven't gone off.
Okay, we are live streaming. Vital's back. Perfect. Welcome back, everybody, to Fantasy TE. And we are live streaming on our YouTube channel. If anyone is watching or whenever you watch in the future, you can write comments and ask us questions, and we will give you the best advice we can. Or you can also just talk shit and brag about whatever it is you got going on. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. My name is Nick Masick. We also have Lonnie Cox and Vital the Juiced. Week 1 panic. There's no panic like week 1 panic. There really is.
Insane, man.
It's the
Hickey
best.
was crazy.
There's nothing quite like it. That week 1 panic in fantasy, in football, in week 1, you cannot top it. So we're gonna get into all the players, all the teams, all the stuff. But first, we're gonna start off this week, and we're gonna start off every week this season with a little segment from Lonnie called "Why Your Team Sucks." Lonnie, week 1, why your team sucks. Take it away.
Dallas Cowboys, why does your team suck? You let go every possible chance of winning. Go on the free agency in this offseason. Connor Williams walked. Lael Collins walked. Cedric Wilson walked. You paid too much money to Ezekiel Elliott. He got fat. He scored 5 points this week. Dak Prescott, was he that good? Okay, he was kind of good. You gave him too much money. He hasn't showed up in 3 years. CeeDee Lamb, supposed to be the greatest wide receiver of the last however many years. He's given 88. I think he's scored 88 total fantasy points in his 3-year career. He doesn't show up. CD stands for constantly disappointing Lonnie, who drafts him every year in the 2nd round. Jerry Jones died 5 years ago. Everybody just forgot to tell him. Did you see him, that video of him last night? He looked awful. I was like, who is letting this guy on camera? I guess I haven't seen him on camera in a couple of years.
They haven't let him. They haven't allowed him on camera. It's not good.
Just awful.
Yeah.
The defense is great. Micah Parsons, 2 drive-ending sacks on 3rd down. He could still win Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, he is just fantastic.
Did he change positions to DN?
He was always a DN. He was drafted as a defensive end.
Yeah.
He just kind of plays every position, really.
Okay.
But he is a natural 3-4 outside linebacker. That is his kind of drafted as role.
He's he's a premier edge with other skill sets as well.
Correct.
Yeah, he was sick.
But he's usually a hand in the dirt,
right?
3-4 outside linebacker. That's his
They said that last night, that in college they actually moved him to stand-up linebacker, which was not his natural position coming out of high school. But this is more like his natural. But he can just do everything. He can do anything.
Everything.
Yeah, he was the only bright spot in that entire showing for the Cowboys. They definitely.
The Cowboys have a decent defense. You held Tampa Bay to 19 points.
Yeah,
like that was not a bad showing by them, but to them to only score 3. I mean, but what did we expect? Jerry Jones does not fielding a team that is going to win games this year. He did that on purpose. He knows what he's doing, but it's just like he's just going to punt season after season after season after season. It's like he's been doing this for 15 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is what will happen. We're going to do this. Then 4 years from now, we're going to be really, really, really good. We're going to go 13-3. And then we're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs to the fucking really, really scorching hot 9-7 Giants. Because that's what the Cowboys do every single year.
This was a good why your team sucks week 1.
Can I just throw in there? Do you guys remember the beginning of the year? You guys said the Cowboys had a better chance of making the Super Bowl than the Dolphins.
I don't remember that.
I'm not sure.
Oh my god!
No.
I actually do remember it, and it's embarrassing.
Wait.
I don't want to admit it that was me.
let me clarify. At least
Oh, no, it
what
was
I
playoff.
said. No, what I said, and I think what Lonnie also said is that the Cowboys had a better chance of making the playoffs
Then the Dolphins made
than
the Super Bowl.
Dolphins did of winning the Super Bowl.
Yes, that is definitely true.
I still feel that
Was
way.
it that?
That was definitely what it was. For sure, that's what we said. Because I would not have said, no way. I would have said the Dolphins are going to make the playoffs over the Cowboys. I thought the Dolphins were going to be a better team. But this is still true, I think, to some degree, because of the strength of the AFC versus the NFC. And I want to get all into that too, because the NFC looks terrible and the AFC looks dominant. The Dolphins looked very good also yesterday.
The defense, what was his name? 28. Oh my god, that guy was everywhere, dude. Oh,
Was that the rookie? Was that that was
I think
it was the rookie. It was.
I haven't seen him last year. I'm pretty sure 28.
He might have been, maybe it was one of their draft picks. I don't know. I didn't follow the game super closely because I was watching Red Zone, so I was watching a little bit of everything. But yeah, like let's have a good old fashioned week one overreaction to everything. That's what we're doing. We're gonna overreact, so we're gonna go through the news. So the Dolphins delivered on exactly what they did what they were supposed to do, right? You put together this super team.
The run game was a little limited, I thought, for sure. And the line still has a lot of holes in it, dude. I still saw a lot of penetration very quickly. They weren't getting a lot of big holes. But yeah, the receivers and the connection with Tua, they're on point for most of it. So it's good.
It's it's what I expected to see from the Dolphins. You're still going against, let's not forget, a Belichick coached defense. So it's not going to be a gimme, like he's not just going to hand you the game and be like, lay down. It's going to be a little tough. We saw also a lot of offensive lines struggle. It's that Cowboys Bucks game was very telling. You got some banged up offensive lines. I think that had a fair bit to do with stalling out drives. As far as the Bucks were concerned.
What happened with the Bengals offensive line? Oh, we gotta get back to the Bengals. You guys were talking about they were gonna repeat. They're so gonna do it. Oh,
I did not say the Bengals.
Yes, I remember this conversation. I remember this one.
No, I didn't even pick them to go to the Super.
Yes,
I didn't even pick them. Hold on. I did not. We did the picks last week. I didn't.
Well, no, not to pick to win, but you said it's very likely that these guys will be back. They added to their offensive line. They've only gotten it. You don't remember this exact conversation?
I remember the exact conversation when I didn't pick them to make the AFC Championship game. I don't even know if I picked them to win the division. I think I did, but I might have picked the Ravens to win their division. I said they have a chance to come back. But also, again, Miami's a great example. The Bucs are a great example. The Bengals are a good example. Offensive lines take longer to gel. Edge rushers, you're just turning them loose on guys who are trying to scheme and work together as, you know what I mean? Like offensive lines, you see those units start to come together middle to later in the season. And those are the units that's when you start to figure out which team has it together on their front. Week one, it's not a time to overreact to the Bengals offensive line, to the Dolphins offensive line, to the Bucks offensive line.
Don't overreact to anything because I messed up last season. I did a big overreaction because Gillespie had a bad week one. I was like, no, I need a new tight end. Right. And then he was fantastic the rest of the season.
I know. We should overreact to everything because it's more fun that way, I think. The Cowboys are fucked. They're complete dog shit. They are going to have the worst season. Here's the thing. Dak, surgery on his finger now. But let's be honest, they weren't doing anything anyway with Dak. He was missing a lot of throws. That's what I saw. I mean, he was flat out throwing it behind guys, missing them.
I felt like they couldn't get their run game established, and that hurt them way more. Because I saw some catches to him and CD and what's his name? The guy they got undrafted, I think they were saying, but
yeah,
there were some good connections.
I saw a lot of missed throws and missed opportunities in that game.
It was a bad game. It was a really bad game. They just did not show up really at all. I don't think they were planning to. It's just goddamn. Being a Cowboys fan is just rough, man.
They were planning on throwing week one.
Well, Gallup's not healthy. Who else? James Washington's still out. They do have receivers. They could be better by the middle of the season. They should be better by the middle of the season. What else do we have? Let's keep overreacting to stuff. No NFC teams looked good. I thought that's an overreaction, obviously. But let's go down the list. All right, let's look at what we got. Here we go. Okay, the Bucks. Did they look good against the Cowboys? Kind of. They looked good. They didn't look great, that's for sure. We had the Vikings and the Packers. I would say the Vikings looked good. Right?
Yeah, the Vikings are great.
The Vikings destroyed the Packers. But did they look really good doing it? I think they looked pretty good. Lonnie, you called this game. I also felt like the Vikings were going to win. The Packers aren't what they're going to be, also kind of like the Cowboys, I think. Bakhtiari's out, left tackle, offensive line issues, and a bunch of receivers who aren't ready to play yet, and some guys who are still injured, I think. So is it as bad for the Packers as you think it is good for the Vikings?
I mean, the Vikings are much more of a complete team. You've got, really a great defense, great offensive line, a great running back. Like, they're a really complete team, whereas the Packers are really young at wide receiver. Like, you saw that dropped touchdown. I did not get the chance to watch this game live. But through the highlights, it was just, I don't know, man. Aaron Rodgers, this looks like he's like regretting his decision to come back this year.
Dude,
I really don't understand that, to be honest. Like, I really don't understand why he came back to Green Bay. I don't know why he wouldn't go to a Miami or a Denver or another team that's like ready to win now. I really don't understand that. Unless there's something behind the scenes that we're not aware of, which there has to be. But yeah, the Vikings look good. They looked good last year.
They did. That was kind of a head scratcher. We all thought Aaron Rodgers was not going to be back with the Packers. Everybody
said he wasn't coming back.
I know.
Yeah, they did the whole Jordan Last Dance thing.
Yeah. And he definitely looked like he was regretting it. Like, that was the look on his face throughout the whole game. So, all right. So we got the Vikings are good. We get the Bucks are good. The only other teams the Saints came back and beat the Falcons. I wouldn't say they looked good. Would you? I don't know if you guys caught the Saints at all.
They didn't look terrible. Their defense looked good. That's to be expected. That was a block field goal,
Yeah, they didn't look terrible, but they didn't look great. Who else was
that? 49ers and
oh God.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Bears
49ers Bears. Neither of those guys, neither of those teams looked
That's
good.
the exact game that the Bears would win. Like, as soon as the more it devolved into chaos, the better they did.
That is true. I was thinking that too. I was like, wow, the Bears are really capitalizing on this horrible weather and just shit show that they're involved in. Fields kind of had some composure though in that moment, that was something that was encouraging if you're a Bears fan, I guess. Like, he didn't crumble under the pressure of like everything falling apart around him.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see if he can keep it together when nothing's falling apart at all, though. Like, can he sit in the back and just play from the pocket and be that guy? But Trey Lance, he didn't look great, and everybody kind of thought Trey Lance was going to be the guy who looked better than Fields. And this was that heads up game. Like, the Bears suck, the Niners are pretty good. That's what everybody thought, and the difference kind of was the quarterback play. But neither of them looked good. I'll say this. The Lions and the Eagles both looked pretty good. If we are buying into the Eagles being a good team, which I kind of am, I'm fairly bought into the Eagles are good. If the Eagles are good and we accept that the Eagles are good, we also have to accept that maybe the Lions are good, which I also thought the Lions were going to be pretty good this year because they gave them a run for their money. High scoring game, close game. Both teams I thought showed composure. Both teams could have won. Both teams showed like they looked like professional football teams, which not all of the teams we saw yesterday did. That's 4 teams so far from the NFC that looked okay. The Giants won against the Titans. didn't look particularly good. They looked okay. Again, I say the NFC's wide open. One thing I did like though, Saquon Barkley looks like he's back. Did you guys catch his highlights?
Yeah, he was.
I didn't see the highlights, but I saw the stat line.
Dude,
I'm furious I passed up on him.
oh my God. He looks great. He looks like the old Saquon, and he was going in the second or third round of fantasy drafts. I got him on 2 teams. It looks good. It looks very good. Again, health is always the issue, but man, we had guys go out yesterday that never get hurt. So, you never know who's going to get hurt, but he looks like he's back to being 100% Saquon. And Daniel Jones did enough to loosen things up enough for him. You know what I mean? He had a couple big pass plays down the field. And they won. Giants won the game. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but they did look pretty good. Cardinals looked bad. Rams looked bad. Do you think those teams are going to turn it around?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals look bad against the Chiefs. Like, fucking Pat Mahomes had something to prove, man. I think he feels like everyone's sleeping on him over Josh Allen, which I even was. I was like, oh, but he's fantasy-wise crushed it, dude.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He looked really good. I think the Chiefs are going to be just fine without Tyreek Hill. I think the Cardinals also same kind of thing. They're missing receivers. They're not what they're going to be. Like you saw a lot of deficiency at receiver. You take a couple guys out of the mix and it just changes your whole team if you don't have guys who can win those matchups. So, and to keep up with the Chiefs, you got to have some horses. They were missing Rondale Moore, and of course, DeAndre Hopkins. So 2 of their top 3 receivers, arguably, maybe their top 2. I don't know. Yeah, so they're going to be better. The Rams, we expect them to turn it around and be in the mix. But the NFC looks kind of weak, and kind of feel like the Bucs can maybe take a run. You guys both picked the Bucs for the Super Bowl, didn't you?
I did.
I picked the Packers.
Oh, you picked the Packers.
Ooh,
yeah. That is not looking good right now. What else do we have here?
I've got a question about the Titans. What happened with Derrick Henry? I didn't watch the whole Giants game because his backup running back really showed out.
Yeah, they hit his backup, Dontrell Hilliard, on a couple pass plays that were like blown coverages. It was sort of a fluky thing. They were running Henry hard, and they didn't give him as many red zone touches. It was just one of those game script things where like Henry will have
you wouldn't say it's fancy relevant though.
Not really, no. I'm not I wouldn't scramble to go pick up Dontrell Hilliard. I think like other guys are gonna have those kind of weeks too, Like it was a fluky kind of thing in a fluky moment. But no, Derrick Henry got a bunch of touches. They were running him, the Giants were just like, all right, we're gonna stop Henry and make you throw the ball and see if you can beat us. And they couldn't really. Derrick Henry's, and he's always had those games. Like when he doesn't get touchdowns, 10 points, he can be bottled up sometimes if the game script doesn't work in his favor. He's the guy, he breaks a 90-yarder every once in a while for a touchdown. Like when he gets ahead of steam, he racks up points, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. So he's always been, I feel like, kind of boom or bust, but more on the boom side. But you'll get those Derrick Henry bust weeks. I wouldn't worry about it. I think that's an overreaction that I don't think is necessary. There were quite a few close games as far as just like watchability. That Bengals Steelers game was good.
Crazy.
Wild. Blocked extra point. Are you kidding me? Like that should have been the end of the game.
And then just a wild shanked one out of nowhere.
I know.
Perfect, no laces.
Yeah. It was a super fun game to watch. It was super exciting. The Steelers defense looked awesome. TJ Watt looked great. He was my pick for defensive player of the year. And then at the end, he went out with a pec injury. And it's like, man, it's a huge blow for him. Obviously, they said they don't know exactly what's wrong or what happened, but it didn't look good when he was coming off the field. Like maybe he'll be back this year, maybe he won't, but they looked like a team that was going to kind of have to rely on the defense, which looked really good. And then all of a sudden you took away their best defensive player. So I don't know. Steelers, good job. You made it through 1 week, but it's going to be tough, I think, without TJ Watt on that team.
And having to rely on what's his face, Mitch, to win games for them, dude. He was missing some wide open dudes, man. I was like, come on.
Yeah, Mitch is not
Put it
going to
away.
I think we're going to see a change. Maybe we might see a change at quarterback sooner than later, especially if he keeps looking the way he did, man. It was not great. No, Miami Dolphins. Did you guys see this? There was a fire in the parking lot. A bunch of fans.
Oh, yeah.
It's classic Miami. I enjoyed that. I don't know how many cars was it that were burned.
11, I think, something like that.
11 cars, and they said they could see it from the stadium. Oh, that would have been. You're like so pumped. You're watching your team beat the Patriots, your hated rivals, and you look in the parking lot. Your car's on fire.
Like to drunk your whole cars and burnt to a crisp.
Oh, man. I mean, I hope they get insurance on that. It's not a good look. That's what happens. You schedule, like if they played in New England, probably wouldn't have happened. And then, it's too hot.
Oh, yeah.
It's just too hot. You can't have these games down here. It's 90 degrees. Everything's flammable. I got to rub this one in your guys' face. This was so fun to watch. Michael Thomas carrying his team back from being down. 2 beautiful touchdown catches. Did you see the catches? Did you guys actually see him?
I did not. No, I didn't get a
Ooh.
chance to really. I got home late last night, so I didn't really get.
These were pretty, like corner of the end zone, side, back corner of the end zone. He just put like these really pretty moves on guys, like kind of body control, classic Michael Thomas, just like body control, hands, touchdown catches. Man, he was pumped too. Like you could tell he was back all the way. Carried one of my fantasy teams probably to victory. So I needed him this week because some other guys kind of let me down. Gotta say, Michael Thomas in the 4th or 5th round, wherever people picked him up, looking pretty good. We got another comment. This is a real comment. Good guy. Thank you for commenting. He's asking about Dalton Schultz. Do you trust Dalton Schultz with a backup or for a quarterback? So in regard to the Cowboys, who we don't know, we're going to get to worst QB picks. We're not going to actually pick for next week because we don't know who won this week yet until after tonight's game. But what do you think about Dalton Schultz with a backup quarterback? We don't know.
Yeah, I would say so because with a backup quarterback, you're just going to have to rely on your tight end more. And I think even what's his name? Dak was leaning on him in rush situations because he got a lot of targets last night.
He did. Lonnie, how do you feel? I know you don't want to recommend any Cowboys, but
the thing is, all right, it's hard to recommend any Cowboys right now. But the thing is, who's a backup most likely going to rely on the most in the passing game is going to be the tight end. So, I would say that possibly with Dak going down, maybe his value increases a little bit, possibly. But again, Cooper Rush spent a lot of time on his back last night. So,
yeah, I mean, that's right. I would say yes. I don't know. Trust is a strong word. He's asking, do we trust Schultz with a backup quarterback? I don't trust any tight ends outside of the top 3, really. I don't even trust any tight ends besides Travis Kelce, honestly. Like, I got him on 2 of my teams, and he was great. Here's the thing with tight ends, and I was planning on talking about this anyway. Find a clear number 1 tight end. And then just fucking throw him out there and hope for the best. Like that's all you've got. Because one of the things we saw, there are some tight ends who caught some touchdowns. There are a couple tight ends who did nothing at all. Just get a guy who's going to be on the field. And that is Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is the clear number 1 tight end in Dallas. Yeah. What else you got? You're going to fucking roll the dice with somebody else. I rolled out, what's his name? In one of my leagues, I didn't have a very quality tight end. It was, who was it? Njoku in Cleveland. And Harrison Bryant got more targets than him, and Harrison Bryant was a very high draft pick. He's really athletic. He's really supposed to be a really good player. He's the backup tight end, but they ended up splitting a lot of reps, and he got more targets. So find a team with a clear number 1 tight end. Gerald Everett. I like Gerald Everett. Because he is the number 1 tight end until further notice with the Chargers. We'll find out about what's his name, Albert, the guy who had his last name I can't pronounce for the Broncos. Is he going to be the clear number one? Noah Fant, probably going to be the clear number one in Seattle. Find a number one and just roll them out there every week and hope for the best. That's my answer there. You guys agree? Tight end wise?
Yeah.
How did your tight ends do this week? Did you guys do, how did your fantasy tight ends do?
I had pretty good. I think I had Waller and then, well, no, not great. I had Waller and then Schultz. And
Waller was okay. Schultz was all right. I mean, comparatively, there's not like a lot of tight
not
ends.
much different, actually. Like, Waller had a much better game, but I think statistically they're only like 3 points off.
Yeah, he didn't get a ton of targets. He got yardage and he didn't get any touchdowns. What about you, Lonnie? Who are your tight ends?
Gesicki got 1 point, which was great. And Tyler Higbee, I think he got about 10 points.
Higbee's he's the number one. He's the clear number one. Gesicki, we talked about this, I think, before. He's just.
Yeah, you did say that. He was going to be used as a blocker.
That's what they said. That's what.
Why, though? I don't understand that. He's a good tight end. Why are they moving him to a blocking
So many
role?
targets, bro.
Yeah, there's not enough targets to go around. They have so many other weapons, I think. I don't know. Whatever reason it is, you're right. He could be much more utilized. He's a very good.
I mean, if they're going to do that, they should trade him. They should get him off the roster, find a better blocking tight end. It just doesn't make sense,
Because he's still because he's still a decoy. He's still a threat.
Yeah, exactly.
You still have to account for him. And that gives him value. Even as a decoy, you have to account for him in pass coverage. So, but yeah, not a great option, obviously. At least not this past week. But based on, when the team is saying that they're not going to throw the ball to him, they're not going to throw the ball to him. And we'll talk about some waiver wires guys as far as tight ends go that I like the look of. What else did we have here? Man, how about no-shows? We had a bunch of no-shows in terms of highly drafted players in fantasy. But the first one was Cam Akers. Did complete no-show. Everybody started him or drafted him as like their RB2, RB3. Your running backs actually look much better because of that, Lonnie. We were talking shit on your running backs. Darrell Henderson looks like he's a starting running back as of right now. What do you think this was with Cam Akers? He was listed as number one on the depth chart, but didn't see a lot of action. Darrell Henderson looked good last year, and he looked good in this game. Even he was one of the few bright spots for the Rams. Do you think this is going to be a trend going forward? Darrell Henderson over Cam Akers?
The very little that I saw, Cam Akers' effort looked terrible. I mean, he just didn't look like he knew what he was doing. There were a couple of moments where he just kind of let guys go in pass blocking situations. Like it just looked shitty. Like he just really did not look good. I don't know why. It's hard for me to understand exactly what's going on. Obviously, I'm not at practice. I'm not in the locker room, but maybe there's a contract issue that's going on or something else. But maybe he got drunk before the game. Maybe it was nerves. We don't know really, but yeah, Darrell Henderson, but listen, better for me if I've got an RB1 sitting on my bench, looks like someone's getting moved up on the roster,
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked the Henderson pick. I was avoiding Akers in drafts. I liked Henderson where he was going. Actually, I think he went higher in every draft than I thought than he was projected to go. I have him in one of my leagues. I think my dynasty league. It's great, dude. He just got up, but he was a really good starting running back last year. And I think you nailed it with the pass blocking. I think this has a lot more to do with that. Cam Akers' running ability. We saw that in the playoffs and the Super Bowl run. He played at the end in the playoffs last year, but he didn't get a whole season of, repetition in terms of pass blocking and picking up. And that's a huge part of the game. So I think a lot of these young guys, until they get that, they're not going to get the rushing attempts. So we'll see. But right now, Darrell Henderson looks like the number one. I think he's probably the number one waiver wire pickup this week too, for any leagues that he's not already in. He was drafted in most leagues though. But yeah, he might move into your running back 2 position, I would say, Lonnie. Clyde Edwards-Helaire looked really good. You had a bunch of no-show guys. Why don't you list this? Your team, you're still looking like you're going to win this week, which is really, it's terrible. But like who no-showed for you? You had a bunch of the big name no-show guys. I had one. I had Devontae Smith, 0. He had 5 targets though. I think I'm not worried about that. Who were the other guys?
CeeDee Lamb, 4.9 points, 2 of 11
Ugh.
for 29 yards.
That's
Mike Williams, 2 for 4 with 10 yards, 3 points. Mike Gesicki, 1 catch for 1 yard, 1.1 points. Amari Cooper, 3 for 6 for 17 yards, 4.7 points.
Ugh.
Got pass interference, though, in the end zone. Not super worried about Amari Cooper. I expect Amari Cooper to have a decent Amari Cooper-like season. Not freaking out about Amari Cooper at all.
Are you worried about Mike Williams?
Who I'm concerned about is CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb would be the one that I think. I don't think
CeeDee Lamb is, highly regarded as, a top 10 receiver in the NFL. But I'm like looking around and I'm like, okay, his first year was his rookie year. He had a good year, right? Amari Cooper was the clear number 1 on that team. CeeDee Lamb ate up a lot of the number 2 work, and he did well with it. Okay, let's give him that. That was a good year. Last year didn't really show up much, but we were like, okay, Dak's leg is hurt. His calf muscle's giving him problems. The Cowboys are, whatever. He's got a lot of other targets, Gallup, Cedric Wilson, even Tony Pollard is eating up some of the catches. Okay. Well, maybe CeeDee Lamb is getting a lot of double teams and he's not looking at. But last night, 2 for 11, a couple really bad drops and some really just like dumb routes. And he just didn't really seem to know what he was doing. Okay, maybe that's bad coverage. Again, maybe this is a week 1 overreaction. But I'm starting to be like, maybe now we're in his 3rd year. Like maybe he's just not the guy,
Yeah. What do you think, Vital?
I mean,
It's
possible. I get exactly what you're saying, Ronnie, with the catches, but again, the Bucks are a good defense. 1, 2. It is week 1. Maybe everything
Correct.
is taking a lot of click. You don't want to overreact yet. Give it game 3, 4, then maybe make a decision. But I would still keep him as a wide receiver too.
This is week 1, Vital. It's the week for overreaction.
No, throw him away.
Overreaction.
Trade him away today.
Yeah. I would overreact I think he's the biggest panic button guy because of his draft capital in fantasy. You're talking 2nd round pick. I think those other guys, Cooper and Williams, are going to be okay. Williams actually might really see a big jump because what's his name? Because he's probably going to be the number 1. Keenan Allen got hurt with a little hamstring injury. That doesn't always help, though, the number 2 receiver. But in that offense, I think it will. I think Williams is going to be fine. But you're not talking about a really high draft pick for those guys. CeeDee Lamb was expensive this year, and I did not like how expensive he was. I wasn't really trying. There were other guys I liked more than him at that spot. Mostly because of the situation, though. Not necessarily. He's never been known as a route runner kind of guy. But when you look at the other guys, not that they were drafted super close to him, but you look at the other young guys who showed out. You had A.J. Brown showing out. You had Justin Jefferson went crazy. Jamar Chase had a huge day. And then you got CeeDee Lamb. And it's like, you expected him to be in the conversation with those guys, right? Based on where you drafted him, and he wasn't, and he doesn't look like he's gonna be this season. I don't see him in the Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson conversation. Deebo Samuel, he's one of those guys, but he also was in a game that was pretty rough looking. So like nobody was probably going to come out of that game with a ton of targets. But yeah, man, I hit the panic button hard on him. A couple other guys who were no shows. Cam Akers is definitely a panic button. That's going to sink some teams for sure. Aaron Rodgers, dude, people are going to be looking at quarterbacks because I don't know if you trust Aaron Rodgers. Do you trust Aaron Rodgers week 2?
Where are they playing?
Negative points this week, right?
Yeah, I think he was negative points. It was bad. It was really bad. It was not good.
Didn't he start last season like that too? If I'm not mistaken.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
They
think he had a
lose
terrible
real
season.
bad to the Saints in
Exactly.
week
they
one.
did. They got blown out, but he did have Devontae Adams still last year, so there was a lot less panic, I think, in terms of fantasy, at least.
I would love to watch the tape on us last year, week one. I bet you a lot of guys were panicking.
I don't know. I mean, I got him in a dynasty league. I'm not sure if I'm panicking yet, but like, it's a super flex league, and quarterbacks don't score a lot to begin with. I don't know. I don't love it. It's hard to
I wouldn't panic. A guy like Aaron Rodgers, you got to remember, like a guy like Aaron Rodgers turned Greg Jennings and Donald Driver into all-stars. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that those are bad receivers because they're not, but like those guys were way better with a guy like Aaron Rodgers.
Right. Yeah.
I'm glad almost that we got to see Devontae Adams go to another team because now you can see how special he's been.
Yeah.
And he is. Because that was kind of always in my mind. I was like, oh, it's Aaron Rodgers. You never know. But now you're starting to see him kind of shine on his own. But
Sure.
Aaron Rodgers is a Tom Brady guy. He's going to make all of his receivers better.
Mhm.
How many years was Tom Brady like this? How many
Mhm.
years? We go look at a week one where the Patriots looked like shit. They
Yeah.
didn't have any receivers. And by week 7, they were the number 1 offense in football. You know what I mean? Like, I think, again, I would not panic. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He is going to get his points, his touchdowns. His receivers are going to get up, or they're going to trade for somebody and get somebody in. Like, I would not freak out.
All right. That's good. You made me feel better about it.
It's Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean?
I
He's
know,
one of the
I know.
greatest quarterbacks of all time.
You gotta like
Yeah.
just saying his name makes you feel better, right? he's Aaron Rodgers. All right, what else we have? Bills defense, Vital, nice pick, dude. Oh man, Von Miller with the Bills D looks so good,
dude.
Seven
I mean, do they have the best defense in
Seven.
football?
What?
Not on himself with the defense.
I mean, are they the best defense in football? I think they are, right?
I think they are. I think they are. And how much of the Rams looking bad was it the Rams looking bad, or was it just the Bills are so good? Yeah, that team. I mean, good job picking them up, Vital, but also like bad job picking the Dolphins to beat them in the division. That's crazy talk.
Listen, the real test for the Bills division is coming up when they play the greatest football team in the world, the Miami Dolphins, and then we'll find out if they're real or not. Okay?
Is that this week? Is that next week? Is
I'm
that?
pretty sure, dude. Next week, it's the second or third week, I think.
I didn't see this.
You know, it's really kind of, it sucks because I would love for that game to get flexed to the Sunday night game. Like, it really deserves to be like a nationally televised game. The Dolphins do kind of get fucked over when it comes to like nationally televised games. The last one I remember, I think, was Monday Night Football with the Giants when they wore those classic uniforms. But like,
but dude, the Dolphins, they haven't been good really.
no, they haven't
for a
been
while,
good. They don't
so
really deserve it. But like,
yeah, they haven't deserved it yet. Next
Bills,
year,
Dolphins, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football. I mean, that would be a fantastic game.
I know you don't have to sell me on it. I'm on board, man. That sounds great. I agree. I think they should flex the Sunday night, but I'm sure logistically and also ticket sales wise, those Sunday night games, it gets tricky when you're like selling tickets to a Sunday night game and then oops, guess what? We're not actually having a Sunday night game. Like you're talking about
they'll flex them, but I think it's late. They'll do them later on in the season.
Later in the season,
once
yeah,
some games, but
it's
from a football fan's point of view, you gotta love the Buffalo Bills. You got to love that team. They are so fun to watch. So good. Josh Allen. I texted you guys, right? I texted you guys, I think Thursday night. I didn't actually get the chance to watch the game. I was just watching highlights, but that play where he rolled out to his right and wrist flicked a 70-yard touchdown, 60 yards in the air.
Yeah.
So Stephon Diggs over Jalen Ramsey. I mean, you're not going to see that many times in your life. That was special.
That was nice. That was very nice. Again, I think the Rams are another one of those teams though, where by the middle or end of the season,
they'll be at the
they
top.
might have Odell Beckham back. And
Correct.
you remember what they were a different team with Odell Beckham. I mean, he really sparked their Super Bowl run, honestly. And he gave him a touchdown in the first half.
Well, remember how dramatic the Super Bowl was once he was out. Like when he
Right.
was out, we were like, oh man, the Bengals are going to win this game.
Right. Before that happened, he was potentially could have been the MVP.
Correct.
Cooper Kupp would probably not have been the MVP if Odell Beckham doesn't get hurt. Matt Stafford more than likely would have been the MVP because he probably would have split targets between the two of them. But if Odell Beckham just happens to be in the right spot, gets another touchdown or two in that game, we're talking about Odell Beckham Jr., the Super Bowl MVP. So yeah, if and when he comes back, it sounds like he's more than likely going to rejoin the Rams. Why wouldn't you? Stafford's going to develop more chemistry with Robinson. They're going to figure out.
Is he not healthy yet? Is that why he hasn't signed?
Yeah, he's still been recovering from the ACL. And he wasn't under contract. It was last year. It was just like a 1-year deal.
Yep.
So yeah, he's still rehabbing and
smart for him. Wait till week 6, week 8.
Yeah, right. Why not? I mean, see what happens. He might even
play
be
for a contender again. Why not?
Sure. Yeah. Because if God forbid, and I hope it doesn't happen, something happened to Stafford or something, you know what I mean? Why would you go back to the Rams if there's another contender?
If you could go play for the Bucks or go play for
Cardinals, whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Or the Packers.
Or the Packers is an interesting. That's a very intriguing thing. You want to go play with Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers?
I think he would fit in right in Miami, man. Him and Hill,
Too
he
much.
seems like a Miami guy.
No way.
I don't think Odell
let's
seems
add
like a Miami
another
guy.
$50 million receiver to the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be pretty
I'll take
crowded
a pay
room.
cut.
That would be interesting. No, I don't think he'll go to Miami. I think
Who's Miami's third receiver?
I think
Wilson.
said Wilson from the Cowboys.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Albert Wilson?
Dude, it was real. I think he went to the Bears and then he blew out his knee in training camp.
Damn.
It was really a bummer because he was looking like, I think it was Albert Wilson. I think he was like the top return guy. They were going to use him as a lot of gadget plays. They were excited about the signing of Albert Wilson. I believe, season ending injury preseason. It was shitty. So he'll probably be back.
That was this year?
Yeah. Yeah. The Bears signed him to like a 3-year deal, I think. And then he blew out his knee. Bummer. But anyway. Yeah, so I think the Rams are a team that we'll see turn it around in the week conference, and probably, hopefully, I would love to see them get back and prime Rams form by the playoffs. So hopefully with Odell Beckham. But yeah, man, the Bills just look. I mean, it's too early to talk about it, and they have a brutal schedule, but
yeah, they do.
They look tough to beat.
Game of the year.
They look very tough to beat. A good one. Speaking of good night games, this next Thursday night game, we got Thursday Night Football now on Prime Video only, which is interesting. And
it means I can watch it finally.
Yay!
Because I don't have NFL Network. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah. That's great. So Prime Video, so a lot more. Hopefully, it'll boost the viewership. And this upcoming week is Chiefs Chargers. Ooh, I'm excited about that one. That one should be great. All right, let's keep going here. Real quick, team names. Did you come up with a good one yet, Vital?
No, I haven't, because I thought this pains me to say because I still kind of hate Josh Allen because I tried to play against him. I thought it was gonna be what's his name from the Colts is my team name. But I think it would be more appropriate to come up with an Allen pun. So,
oh yeah, you do have, dude. Your team is looking good. Josh Allen and Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, I think you got to go Josh Allen. I personally,
I think so too. It feels right.
I got the Dalvin Insurrectionists in our league, and then in one of my other leagues, I got I left my Waller in El Sequando. Which
I like that one.
Both?
I got them both. Yeah. And they both look good yesterday too. So I'm very excited about that team name. Lonnie, what was yours again? You want to share it?
Yeah, I switched them up yesterday to the old rub and tugs. Did you see my icon?
No, what is
I did. I saw.
What is it? What's the icon?
Just like an Asian massage
lady.
Oh,
oh man.
Yep. Real smart comedy over here.
Because you drafted
Deshaun
Watson. Yes. Your team, I don't know if you're going to be in the mix by the time Deshaun Watson gets back. You're probably going to get the win tonight. What do we need tonight? What do you guys need tonight?
Not going to be in the mix. I will not hear.
Okay. All right.
Damn.
Settle down. Vital,
Yeah.
your team destroyed, right? Do you have any chance? You can't lose, right?
No, not really. No, I can't
All
lose.
right.
I've won right now. I saw 2 players.
What do you need tonight to win, Lonnie?
I need DK Metcalf to score less than 25.
25. All right. So DK to have you just need Russell Wilson not to change teams again. To make
Yeah.
sure that you win.
Correct.
I'm going against Russ. I think in our league, I need Russ to throw an interception on the first play, get sacked and concussed on the second play. And then Brian will lose 4 points because I'm losing right now by 4, I think. And he's got Russ playing. So yeah, I need the old interception / sack concussion combo.
It could happen.
It could happen. You know what though? I'm not worried about my team because I have one of the highest scoring teams this week. I don't mind losing week 1. This is the whole week 1 panic thing. When you lose week 1, but you have a high scoring team, it's okay because 1, your team's putting up points. So you got a good team. It means you got a quality team. And 2, it means you're looking pretty good. You're starting off on the right foot in terms of the tiebreaker because it always comes down to that point total. So the 2 leagues that I'm probably going to lose this week, both scored extremely high, like second highest in one league. I lost by like 1.5 points to the highest scoring team. And then in our league, I think I'm like the top 4 or 5. So I like that. That's okay with me. I'm not worried. I'm not panicking about my team just yet.
Who did you play this week?
I played Brian G. His team fucking lit it. His team went off.
The auto draft king.
Right.
Yeah. You know what though? Terzo auto drafted the first 2 rounds. Auto drafting doesn't really matter. It's later that it really can hurt you. It's when you rack up 3 defenses and 2 tight ends that both suck. That's when auto drafting really hurts you. First 2 rounds, they're all studs, man. Your team's gonna be loaded. It doesn't matter. I'm a little bit worried. I'm not worried, but I'm a little bit regretting that I didn't draft Jefferson instead of Dalvin Cook. I don't know. I think teams are going to start playing coverage and it's going to work in favor of Cook. I think we'll see those that balance out a little bit. But man, Jefferson looked like it. He was not the guy that you wanted to have passed on yesterday. So that was tough for me to swallow. But I'm going to not panic too hard just yet. So we covered a bunch of injuries, a couple other injuries. I lost Elijah Mitchell. That injury probably was the reason I probably wouldn't have beat Brian anyway, but Elijah Mitchell's out for a few weeks. He was not my highest drafted running back, but I think he was my 2nd or 3rd highest. So that's not good. Mitchell's out for a few weeks. Keenan Allen, hamstring, we'll see. T. Higgins went out with a concussion, concussion protocol. Maybe he'll be out next week. Maybe he won't. Chris Godwin, this was a pretty bad beat for people who drafted Godwin high. He was another one I was wary of because of injuries coming into the season with his ACL, but he tweaked his hamstring. And that's probably, because of the conditioning, you're not ready, you're coming off another injury. Sometimes you see that. So Godwin's out for a few weeks. Najee Harris, foot injury. They don't know. It doesn't sound too bad, but they're still looking at it. And then TJ Watt. I don't know if the Steelers, that's actually fantasy relevant for the Steelers defense because the Steelers defense were looking like they were going to be a pretty solid fantasy pick. And without TJ Watt, that actually very much affects their defense and how they're going to score because you're getting points for sacks and interceptions. And Watt has a huge amount to do with that. So waivers, we talked about tight ends, get a good one, get a starter and stick with them. A couple guys that might be options. Dude, how about this? Taysom Hill, fucking listed as a tight end, 81 yards rushing, a touchdown, a reception. I hate to say it, but I kind of feel like you should go pick up, if Gerald Everett's not there, I feel like Taysom Hill's the guy as a tight end. If you need help, I'm looking at him in some leagues to waiver. What do you guys think about Taysom Hill? If you, Lonnie, are you?
I think that might be a one-off. Like you were saying, the Tennessee game, I think that might be a one-off. They were just doing whatever to try to win, dude.
They're gonna keep trying to do whatever to win, though, and they clearly have packages for him where he's throwing the ball, where he's running the ball. Lonnie, you obviously need to bail on Gesicki. You thinking about Taysom Hill, maybe?
I mean, of course, I'll take anything.
I'll
I'll
take
think about
anything.
it.
Yeah,
I'll think about it. Why not?
I mean, he put up a really good stat line, and it didn't seem like it was a fluke. It seemed like they're just going to use him kind of how they've been using him, and he's going to get some points. You hate that if you drafted Alvin Kamara again. But yeah, quarterbacks. I got Carson Wentz had a really nice week statistically. Seems to be building chemistry with McLaurin, which is nice to see. If you got either of those guys, and the rookie for Washington, 2 touchdowns, Jahan Dotson. Also, Curtis Samuel had a decent day as well. Now I know it's a Jags defense, and we're not, they have a couple high draft picks, but the rookies. So the Jags defense, maybe we're not going to crown Carson Wentz the MVP yet, but decent waiver pickup, especially if you had Dak. I would look at Carson Wentz. Jameis Winston also maybe a decent option, and Trevor Lawrence had a pretty okay day. So if you're looking to replace Dak or Aaron Rodgers, maybe if you want a full panic button on Aaron Rodgers, those are some guys. Rex Burkhead is a nice pickup. I actually picked him up before this week. I had a feeling it looked good for Rex Burkhead. He had an okay week as a running back. Jeff Wilson, if you got Elijah Mitchell, might be on there. Tyrion Davis-Price, another running back for the Niners. I don't know which way they're going to go, but they're going to have to go with one of those guys probably. Mecole Hardman, just get a piece of that Chiefs offense, I guess, like throw them in there on bye weeks. Those guys are going to score points. Corey Davis did okay with the Jets, surprisingly. Not many Jets did anything of note, but Corey Davis was okay. Josh Palmer, if Keenan Allen is out, Josh Palmer is supposed to be a guy that the Chargers are very high on, probably going to slide into their number 2 spot. That being said, Herbert threw it to 9 different receivers. So I don't know if you can trust any of the Chargers. Just, they might be one of those, looks like the old Patriots where Brady just throws it to everyone. Good for the Chargers, maybe not good for fantasy. Devin Duvernay, number 2 receiver for the Ravens, 2 touchdowns yesterday. I picked him up in 3 leagues already before last week. Maybe it's a fluke, maybe it's not. I think he's worth stashing on your bench. All right. Anybody else that you guys like the look of for waivers? Anybody else stood out?
Looks like Robbie Anderson is available in our league.
Robbie Anderson's an interesting one. He had a big play. He's a big play guy. He's always been a big play guy, but he had a better week than DJ Moore. So if he's got that connection, he gets separation, and that's what Baker needs. Baker's a big arm down the field guy. There could be some other weeks where Robbie Moore steps up and has decent weeks. Good call.
OJ Howard. I mean, OJ Howard had, what's this? Two catches for 38 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's probably not going to, but again,
that one looked like a fluke to me.
A fluke, but again, like that's a poor team, and tight ends sometimes do well on poor teams with young quarterbacks. So
yeah, you could take a flyer on Howard maybe, but the Bills straight up cut him because they said he just didn't look good in camp. So, but he was a 1st-round draft pick. I don't know. That's a whole weird situation. Yeah, you can take a shot on him, but he might get a 0 next week. Is he the clear number 1? What team was it again? I forget. Houston, right. Is he the clear number 1? They got a couple. The Houston team they drafted Isaiah Likely, I think, maybe, to be their number 1. It's interesting. Yeah, something to monitor. All right. Well, let's get to worst QB of the week. Lonnie has yet to play Geno Smith. Last week we picked Vital. You picked Marcus Mariota, 19.8. Your boy let you down, dude. He was running a little bit. He had I told you he's going to be running. So scramble Mariota. I got Jacoby Brissett, 10.8. They got the win, mostly just because they're a kicker. But Jacoby Brissett was not great. So Jacoby Brissett, solid 10.8. Lonnie, you could come right in the middle easily. You could finish second. You could finish. It's all on the table right now. But how you feeling about Geno Smith against these Broncos for putting up a bad stat line?
I love it. I think it's most likely going to happen. The Seattle Seahawks are arguably the worst team in football, maybe at the very, very, very bottom, 31 out of 32 behind the Jets, I would say.
Okay.
So I like it a lot, but we'll see.
It's pretty good. You got to beat a 10.
Broncos have a great defense. I mean,
Yeah.
Chubb and Randy Gregory, and I mean, you're looking at some pretty stout. I forget the safety's name, number 43, but he is a fucking monster.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Okay. I
It'll be a great game. Can't
I'm
wait to
pretty
watch.
Great game. Great game watching.
Can't wait to watch Russell Wilson in a. I mean, when was the last time you saw a guy beat a team in the Super Bowl and then join them? I don't think we've seen that very often.
Ooh, good call. I didn't even think about that. That's a very good point. I forgot about this Super Bowl, and this Super Bowl is a blowout too. That was,
by the way, this people don't talk about this. I just want to mention Russell Wilson is the second person ever in the history of the NFL, the second black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Nobody ever talks about that. Nobody ever mentions it.
Really?
But he is the second black quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl. He is not given his credit, and he should. I just wanted to say that.
Shout out to Russell Wilson.
Doug Williams was the first and only black quarterback for decades to ever win a Super Bowl. Mike Vick never did it. Donovan McNabb never won.
Wait, isn't Patrick Mahomes black? I think
he was the third.
Oh yeah, because Russ did it before.
He was third. Okay.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Russell Wilson does not get his credit.
Good point. Well,
also, gonna get even a little weirder. One of the only Super Bowls where both teams wore the same color helmets.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was okay. Interesting. Well played. All right, we got one more question from Ryden. Nitin Velis.
Is it the N-word? Because
I don't know. No, it's not that again. I wonder if that's somebody we know. It probably is.
Of course it is. It was called Funny Man was the name.
Who was? I'm curious to see who it was. Perfect. Anyway, quick question. Valisetti, Nitin, thanks for watching. Would you trade CD Lamb for Chark? CD Lamb and Chark for Keenan Allen? 12-team PPR. No, I don't think so. Keenan Allen just hurt his hamstring.
What do you have as receivers?
Well, I guess maybe that depends, but like, would I give up CD and Chark for Keenan Allen? No. I think Chark is pretty good. I think Chark's a decent flex play, and he's another guy. If he's on waivers, he probably isn't, but if he is on waivers, look at him. He had a touchdown. The Lions look like they're going to be better than they were last year. I would not bail on CD and Chark for Keenan Allen just because of the hamstring injury. I mean, you don't know what Keenan Allen's gonna. Guys nurse hamstring injuries. He's got Cortland and DK. Those guys are solid, probably. I don't know. We'll see tonight. But no, because receivers can get hamstring injuries that linger all year, and they'll play with them sometimes, but just not be productive. And that is totally possible for Keenan Allen, I think, in the Chargers offense. They could trot him out. They're like, your hamstring's okay. Like, it's not going to be worse, but you're not going to go full speed. They'll put him out there just as a decoy and let the rest of the receivers eat. And that is a terrible situation for fantasy. No, CD's healthy.
Whoever is proffering you that trade is not your friend.
Or they are your friend and they just really want to fucking beat you, because I send you guys bad trades all the time. That's not true. I always send good trade offers, but we'll see. We haven't had any trade offers yet, but oh boy, maybe that's coming in the wings. No, I say no. You guys agree? No, don't make the trade. Bad trade. Don't do it. He says true, guys. Thanks. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. We're here every Monday night. We're here for you. Thank you for checking in. Okay, last thing, we're going to pick the game. Are we all on the same page for this game tonight? Broncos?
Geno Smith, he's coming back. The old West Virginia Geno Smith is coming back tonight. Absolutely not.
No.
Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson, proving a point. You should have given me a good team. That's what he's going to come back and say.
If there's one quarterback who's not afraid to play in Seattle, it's Russ. And honestly, I think he's going to get cheered. I think they're more likely to boo Geno.
Yeah, Smith, it's funny. I was just thinking they don't hate him. They shouldn't at
Why
all.
would they? they're more likely to boo Geno Smith than they are Russell Wilson tonight. I'm going to say that because the Seahawks are very nice people up there. And
Yeah, Seattle's a nice fan base, man. They cheered for Ichiro after he left for the Yankees and came back. You know, they don't give a shit.
they're just a
Did you
bunch
guys
of
see Dak getting trash thrown at him? Did you see that?
No. Look at the difference. Look at the difference.
But you know what? That was also like that. That could have been symbolism, like symbolic of the throws that he was making. That
Sure.
they're like, you're gonna throw trash, we're gonna throw trash. We're gonna make this. Yeah, we're all gonna do it tonight. All right. What else? What's the last thing we got? What to DraftKings captains? Ooh, draft Lonnie. Congratulations, Week 1 DraftKings. Kickoff DraftKings. This is technically the Week 1 Monday night game. Won the kickoff. Who you got for your DraftKings captain tonight?
Broncos country, let's ride. Russell Wilson.
Yep. Vital.
Well, it was a hard week. This is a hard
Same.
DraftKings.
Same.
A
Yeah,
captain for him.
So we're all on Russell Wilson for the DraftKings captain, which means nothing he does is going to count for us. So it's all going to be about the other guys. Good. Yeah, you couldn't pass Russ up on DraftKings for captain this week. There was no clear other pick, honestly.
I was thinking maybe Javonte Williams. He was the only other one I would consider.
I thought about him.
But again, like I don't know if Melvin Gordon's going to be the guy this week. I just don't know. I think you had said that you had kind of heard that Javonte had kind of taken a step ahead, right? And he's their clear number 1 now, or did I make that up?
No, they think he's the guy, but also Melvin Gordon's supposed to share carries with him.
Sure.
No, it was Rashad Penny was actually the only guy who's the clear number 1 back in this game,
right.
And that's for Seattle. So, but
Kenneth Walker just got the news out tonight. Very unfortunate. I'm sad to see that. I'm really looking for him to kind of
Kenneth Walker, the backup, who you picked up. He's probably he's not going to be out long term. I don't think it doesn't. No. He'll be back at some point. So, all right. Well, we got Week 1 Monday night in the books. Thank you guys. It's been a fun show. Thank you everybody for watching and writing in. Write in every week. We'll be here Monday nights around a little after 6. We usually get started on YouTube. You can watch us live. You can write in questions. Follow us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on TikTok. We just post funny clips, short clips each week. If you do that, that helps us a lot. Thank you. Feel free to share us with your friends. If you tell us who they are, we'll give them bad advice and you good advice. And then I think you can listen to us all over the internet. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, and a number of other sites. So you can listen to us on your free time as well. All right. For Lonnie Cox, Vital the Juice. Last thing is, do you guys have any shows coming up you want to promote? Comedy shows.
Tonight, if you're in the Miami area, I am at Red Bar. I'm also going to be at Thank You Miami. Tuesday, tomorrow in Hollandale at the Icebox Cafe. Then Wednesday is going to be my big show. I'm at Bay 13. Going to be a great lineup. So got a couple good shows this week. Next week I'm at Red Light, but I'm all over. Awesome. Follow me on Instagram, Cox Comedy.
At Cox Comedy on Instagram. Vital, you got anything?
I know shows this week, but still follow my Instagram. Vital Who. Do it.
At Vital Who, and I'm at Nick Masick. You can always message us if you ever want to find out where we're at and what we're doing.
Yes.
Do I have any shows? No, I got a private show on Saturday, but other than that, I'm just doing my usual rounds here in Pompano with Brews Room and Bow Campers in Fort Lauderdale. So yeah, go see Lonnie in Miami, and then thank you for watching. We'll see you guys soon.
See you guys soon.
All right.
Hey guys.